Good afternoon. My name is Latrice Bowles-Reynolds, and I'm one of the ambulatory managers at Virginia Mason Federal Way. The topic of conversation today is regarding managing unplanned absences for large and mid-sized organizations. As an employee, wouldn't you like to decide how to use your vacation, sick, and personal time? Would you like to be alleviated from the guilt of calling out sick due to minor issues? And as an employer, wouldn't you like to be alleviated from the worries of managing unplanned absences? Would you like to focus your time and energy on ways that you can improve the overall quality and improvements of your organization? Research suggests many employers are electing to find alternative ways of managing unplanned absences because of direct costs associated with managing vacation, sick, and otherwise absent workers, and indirect costs associated with profitability, productivity, and operational costs. And this is according to Society for Human Resource Management 2014. So I would like to review the three main reasons why organizations are leaning towards a PTO model versus your traditional absence management model. So the first point is, when managing unplanned absences, organizations that have elected to switch from absence management model that's traditional to a PTO management model claim that they experience less unplanned absences. So they claim they experience less unscheduled absences. And there are also recommendations based off of lost productivity and payroll costs. That's my second point. And then the third point is the advantages and disadvantages from the viewpoint of the employer and the employee. And this is according to ADP Research 2015 and G&A Partners 2015. So I would like to draw your attention to the visual aids that I have before you that looks at the reasons for employee absences in large and mid-sized organizations, the types of absences that are most concerning for these organizations, and the impact that absenteeism can have on an organization. So first we're going to look at the reasons for employee absences. Types of absences that are most concerning would be unplanned absences, and that's if you are out sick with a cold or a flu. And then we move towards the planned absences, and that's if you are out for a scheduled surgery, a scheduled doctor's appointment, or a planned vacation. And then the next bucket would be if you are out due to inclement weather. So if your car doesn't start, you have a flat tire, there's snow on the ground, that's another reason why we experience unplanned absences in the workforce. And out of all of the related healthcare related absences and non-healthcare related absences, the most concerning for organizations is health related due to illnesses. And so we're going to move on to recommendations that are based on lost productivity and payroll costs. So looking at this visual aid, you'll see that productivity for a mid-sized organization impacts an organization by 50%, and for a large organization, it's impacted by 54%. And then we look at profitability, it impacts an organization by 30%, and then 36% for a large organization. And then moving on to operational costs, organizations are impacted by 28% if it's a mid-sized organization, and then 37% if it's a large organization. So I'm just looking at the visual aids and just the information that I've already shared with you. You can see that unplanned absences can have a really significant impact on an organization. It can impact the organization's customer service, any quality metrics that an organization has been asked to meet, and it can also interfere with staff engagement. So it can totally decrease morale for staff. So you want to make sure that you are managing unplanned absences appropriately. So we're moving on to the advantages and disadvantages for both the employer and the employee. And again, looking at the advantages and disadvantages, this is according to ADP Research Institute 2015 and G&A Partners 2015. So some of the advantages of moving from a traditional management option to a PTO model would be that it reduces unscheduled absences. And again, I stated that earlier. It allows for more employee flexibility of their time. So if employees feel that they are able to use their time as they see fit, they can accumulate all of their sick and vacation into one big bank and take a long extended vacation, they are probably more prone to want a PTO model. A PTO model is also more attractive for employees seeking employment. So as an employer, if you have a PTO model, this is a very nice benefit package for someone seeking employment because again, you get to use your time as you see fit, the flexibility aspect. And then it also reduces administrative costs. So HR business partners and managers are spending less time trying to track unplanned absences. It can take a lot of time, energy, and resources to manage this. So by switching to a PTO model, you can reduce those expenses. Another advantage is employees feel like they are all treated equally. You have an employee who has children and they're out sick often. The employee that's left to manage all of the work that's left behind from the employee that is frequently out sick or taking care of their child can really impact the equality. So with the PTO model, again, it's all one bucket of or one bank of time, so it just feels a little more equal. Some of the disadvantages of a PTO model would be employee resistance. So again, you have the employee with children, they don't want to use vacation time to care for their small child. They would prefer to use sick time. So you will have some employees that resist the idea of moving from the traditional management model to a PTO model. There are also financial implications for the employers. So initially, you will have to pay out those employees who have a large sick bank because it's really the right thing to do. And most organizations feel that that's the right thing to do, and they've elected to do that. So it can cost an organization a lot of money up front, but then you will see the gains years later when you notice that you're saving on administrative costs, productivity, and profitability. And again, this is according to G&A Partner 2015, Herring the second 2007, and ADP Research Institute 2015. So in conclusion, employers are electing to find alternative ways of managing unplanned absences, and again, it's because of the direct cost associated with unplanned absences and the indirect costs associated with productivity, profitability, and operational costs. And that in organizations that are electing to switch to a PTO model find that they experience less unscheduled absences, and the recommendations are based off of advantages and disadvantages, and we're also looking at payroll cost and productivity. So again, as an ambulatory manager tasked with tracking cost, productivity, and employee time off, a PTO model would be something that I would prefer. If employees are responsible for tracking their own time, they in turn also take ownership for their hand in the company's profits and loss. This also involves communication from the manager and the HR business partner to establish expectations. According to attorney Herring II, 2007, careful planning for a changeover to a PTO, clear communication about how the system works, and careful administration will yield a PTO system that is pleasing to both the employee and the employer. Once you've weighed these options, make sure that you, again, have a clear communication plan in place with your HR business partner that's included in your policies and procedures that's rolled out to your organization. And again, according to this is also according to Herring II, 2007. Thank you so much for your time.